Let's try this again. I had you sideways. All right, state your name.
My name's Carl Malakar.
And you're from where?
I'm live by the little town of Mayer, Minnesota on State Highway 25.
Lifelong duck hunter?
Yeah, I've been there since 1957.
Okay. And have you been seeing the low population trend where you are?
Yes, it's happened since the 60s. I've been going downhill since then.
And do you think there's kind of a major cause in your area?
Well, they learned how to tile pretty good.
Drain tile?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're seeing a lot of small wetlands go away and lost egg?
For years.
Yeah.
In years.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And why did you feel the need to come here today?
Supporting the arts and supporting the people that are here, to cheer them on. That, thank goodness that we put in national parks along the Mississippi. We set aside these places where we can still see the birds and that, because in between the tiling and time, things have changed.
Sure. And tell us about your art. When you're talking about art in the outdoors, what do you mean?
I grew up on a family farm outside of Mayer there, and I had a beautiful abundance of wildlife and ducks there for many, many years. And as the years went along, I kept on painting and drawing, and started going to Alaska trying to film some of the sea ducks. Yeah. And after 25 trips and been out with natives and Eskimos, and I finished up a couple of books now on the Arctic, on the spectacle eider. I'm doing one right now on Kodiak, and I've got working on one now of the Aleutian Islands.
Yeah. So you've been that is really a dream trip for a lot of waterfowlers. When did you make your first trip to Alaska?
I drove up in 1977.
Wow.
That's when it had a true 1,400 miles of gravel road. Fastest you could drive was 35 miles an hour. I had 20 diamonds on my windshield and ate up tires like candy.
Yeah.
But it took my time, and from there on, I got to meet people. Alaska's big, a lot of space, but when you start meeting people in nature and what you were looking for, it took time. And as the years went along, I got to manage to be able to get into all film and photograph all 4 North American eiders, and actually got some of them in a boat.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's kind of the crown jewel still for the North American Slam. Can you still hunt them now?
Well, right now the situation with the eiders, the king is still open. You can go out all around the state to find the kings, and the Pacific eider. Kodiak, different places, different populations. But the spectacle and the stellars, they started shutting that down in 91, 92, right in there, one back to back, and it was an environmental thing. It wasn't nothing hardly to do with hunting at all. Is that you got to remember, these birds are wintering on the ocean, January and February, out by St. Matthew's Island, total darkness, feeding on diving to get their food to come out, and the ice has been moving, this has been moving, and they don't know these birds are spread. One storm could kill almost the whole population.
Yeah.
A storm that comes up at 28-foot waves. Imagine riding that in the dark. 24 hours and eating, unbelievable. So they figured, well, if they can keep the population in hold, that's wonderful.
Yeah. So tell us about your farm and your butterflies and your artwork. So this is your. You said this is your.
This is the 1914.
Museum?
Yeah, this is the museum. This is the granary right here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have this here in the background. You see the old Chaska brick house behind the barn here. Mm-hmm. I just turned that into that's a museum also. That has the original wallpaper in it since 1900. It was a Chaska brick house.
Okay.
And then there's an 1896 cabin on the farm that is my jewelry shop. And then the barn itself now, at the south end of it, is memorabilia lane with artwork, decoys, boats, history of 40 years of the arts. And then upstairs in the barn, it's the only known barn that has 3 tracks in it, horse equipment, a lot of knowledge of history of the area.
It's beautiful. That's a very much a labor of love that you can share with people.
It was, and then if they're in the late 70s and things are changing and stuff, my dad was saying, well, if you want to keep working with this place, you put the roofs on. And let me tell you, that's a project, putting roofs on buildings.
You bet.
You could give a guy the place and keep the roofs on it.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see, I've been asking everybody this question. What do you think our main goal? You said the changes in wetland tile, draining tile. Do you think that's the biggest thing that we can kind of reverse course? Or
It's a big part, and then it's nice to see a little more predator control come
Sure.
by. We had a rotten price on furs for many years, and I don't know who didn't have a problem with, skunks have their place, everything has its place, but with the fur market and fox and this, all of a sudden it just, nobody was bothering with them. We just let them go. And we got a lot of them.
Yeah, that's definitely something we gotta
I mean,
look
it's
into.
a part of it. It's all part of the ecosystem, but it got a little heavy on the predators.
Sure.
And even like a beautiful otter. Woohoo! You get an otter in a lake, the way they go. We never had otters on the farm, as far south as I was, and then the beaver just exploded. The cornfields, the creeks, you had beaver everywhere. So
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, for sure. And then the last question I got for you is, what's the best day of bird hunting you've ever had? And it could mean anything to you, whether it was one bird or a dozen or whatever it is.
In the backyard on the farm, probably 10 years ago, I was in a canoe pushed into the cattails. Middle of the day, on a Wednesday, 11 o'clock. I'm sitting, where's these migrators? I had 18 canvasback ducks out in front of me, just sitting there and going, where are these guys? They're migrating. All of a sudden, on the middle of nowhere, a raft of 25, 40 of them went right across the decoys. Shoo! I was just laughing. They were doing the 8 number. I said, this is just plain funny. They're coming back. But right behind them was another 40. Boom! I said, this is hysterical. This is really funny. I'm sitting there. Sure enough, they make around. They come back. Shh! They landed the decoys. Shh! They landed. There I'm looking at about 75, 80, almost 90% of them are drakes. I'm going, wow, isn't that funny? So I looked at them going, how can I do this to make more fun out of it? So I thumped the boat, and the biggest Trigosaurus in the bunch, I took out a gorgeous, beautiful drake canvas back in the backyard. I could pick from 70 of them. That was pretty remarkable to do that.
That's a victory in itself, isn't
Yeah,
it?
I mean, it's just like, to have 2 bunches come in and that friendly was just, in the backyard was phenomenal. And I've done that many times if you can catch them on the migration. The main thing is you got to have time.
Yeah.
I really love my bird watching, man.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
You're
I'm going to get
welcome.
down to your museum one of these days and check it out.
Yeah.